Ano po inyong mga major takeaways sa mga pagdinig po?
Yung testimony ni Matibag na klaro pong ano siya, he is a biased witness, no? And even an overconfident one, no? Klaro po talaga na ang kanyang ang pinagsasabi is that out of speculations, conjectures, no? So, ang tingin ko po, yung ang statement ni Matibag, well, na-establish niya yung prosecution's narrative. However, hindi necessarily po pagdating po sa evidentiary foundation, no? Kasi sabi niya, na-establish nga niya na merong statements, no? The NBI took statements seriously. Yung pong sinabi ni BP Inday, nag-constitute siya ng special task force, nag-consider siya ng conspiracy, no? Bago itong theory na, conspiracy na, no? National security implications, and allegedly yung develop daw siya ng mga confidential leads or yung mga leads niya sa person of interest. No? Pero ang problema is that pagdating sa cross-examination, doon siya medyo lumagpak, MJ.
Opo, nabanggit niya po kanina na nagdudulot raw ng kinetic force. Ganun ah. Doon po sa parang ang mga pahayag ay parang nag-uudyok sa mga supporter ng mga Duterte na gawin in actual yung pong kanyang mga pronouncements. Alam naman po natin na ito'y dala po lamang ng kanyang bugso ng damdamin at galit noong mga panahong nangyari yon, attorney.
Actually, hindi na kailangan ang statement ni Inday Sara para magalit ang mga taong bayan. Galit na nga po ang mga tao talaga sa kanya. As you could see, ng negative trust rating ni yung satisfaction rating niya, no? Talagang bagsak itong kang BBM, no? And hindi na kailangan po ng statement ni BP Inday para doon. Lahat po ng taong bayan, halos lahat po, hindi na po nagugustuhan ang pamamalakad ng gobyernong ito. That can be seen, no? And if you'll notice that despite that, parati pong tumataas po ang trust rating ni BP Inday. So, I cannot understand how would it be that kumbaga meron yung kinetic force, no? Magandang term yun, no? Bago yung kinetic force, no? Na parang ang nangyayari is that because of what he said, marami ng pagbabanta sa kanya. But hindi niya naman sinasabi yung mga pagbabanta rin na continuously sa buhay din ni BP Inday Sara. So, it already shows his bias dahil nga one-sided lang po yung kanyang pag-testify. Nag-testify lang siya pabor po doon sa kanyang boss na si BBM and against a political opponent na si BP Inday Sara.
Opo, pero attorney, paano po ninyo masusuri po yung kalidad ng ebidensya na kanya pong ipresenta na sama po yung video pronouncements ni Mayor Baste Duterte? If ipipresent po natin yan in an actual court hearing, tatayo ba yung mga ebidensya na yun, sir?
Hindi, because the statement of Mayor Baste was taken out of context. As usual, because sinabi isa lang ang ulong kailangan natin at malala mo po yung Romanov, Mussolini at yung panahon ng tatay mo na 1986 Revolution, it means, ibig lamang sabihin noon talaga ni Baste, no? Common sense, no? Sabi lang niya, sige, pag matimpi po, hindi pa kapagtimpi ang tao, it might possibly that the people will get angry and go to the streets, no? And demand for your resignation. And it's possible, baka nga may people power. Parang gano'n, no? Now, yung sinasabi namang kinonyak niya kagad doon sa ulo na sinabi ni BP Inday Sara, remember, it was when the time when sa PMA yun naghihingi ng relo yung isang kadete. Tapos what? Parang kinantsawan siya and everything. No? Why will I give that to you? Sabi pa, nagalit siya doon because hindi naintindihan ni BBM ang tradisyon na pag mayroong mga ganyan, talagang hinihingi ang watch. No? If you'll notice nga sa panahon ni PRRD, ibinigay nga niya yung relo niya. Ganyan po talaga ang tradisyon. Kaya nga ang kantsawan nga sa taas dapat pag may PMA, magamit ka wag mo gamitin yung Rolex mo, yung mahal yung tama-tama lang kasi siguradong hihingi niyan at you have to give it because that is the tradition. Parang nahiya si BP Inday Sara doon sa bata ba, parang na-embarrass yung bata na ganun because the break ng tradition na ganun. Kaya nga, yun ang statement niya. Everything was taken out of context and to think that ang pinapakita na ebidensya ng prosecution, puro splice lang, doon sa gusto lang nilang mapakinggan at mapanood ng taong bayan.
Opo, sa cross-examination, kailang beses po siyang natanong if he had personal knowledge on the allegations at doon sa mga ginawa po na investigasyon at yung mga ebidensya po na inilatag po ng kanya po mga tauhan sa NBI. May nasabi po niya na hindi, wala. Yung sa pagharap, attorney, ng mga witness, gaano po kahalaga ang personal knowledge kapag ikaw po ay tatayo sa witness stand?
Napakahalaga talaga ng personal knowledge, to, because that is the most important and credible evidence to prove that to prove a fact, no, which is a matter in issue sa korte. Kaya nga, sabi natin, evidence is the means sanctioned by this rule in ascertaining in a judicial proceeding or in impeachment proceedings the truth of the truth as a matter of fact, no. Kaya dapat po kasi meron ka talagang direct personal knowledge sa pagkalaman, no. Take note that yung number one weaknesses ng kanya during the cross-examination, number one, yung lack of personal knowledge. Much of his testimony kasi nag-concern what investigators supposedly found, no, rather than matters directly perceived by him. Wala talaga, no. Second, meron pa siya sinasabi about this assassin, no. Wala naman siyang na-disclose to link to an actual assassin. The supposed persons of interest, yung intelligence sources and underlying evidence, puro marites pa na pinag-usapan daw nila nung mga kasamahan niya sa foreign service and everything, puro chismis. At saka to think na follow pa niya na mythology yung sa Secret Service. Wala pa na mythology sarili ang NBI. Mga things like that. But going back to the lack of personal knowledge, it's very dangerous. It tantamounts to hearsay. Ibig sabihin, in-establish ng defense kanina, o sige, wala kang lack of personal knowledge. So, ano ang naigawa mo ngayon na nag-testify ka para dito? Ibig sabihin, parang pinabiyaan mo lang and then from that, you made a conclusion. And dapat kasi, based on records ang sinasabi ng prosecution. True. But he has to have it analyzed and reviewed. And he should have called up the investigators and restudy it again. And ipagkulangin po para ma-fill up yung kanyang personal knowledge is to conduct a re-investigation by calling them, no? Calling those witnesses na dapat po is itanungin ulit, no? Kasi sabi nga niya, this is a plan now, hindi na ito hindi na ito threat, it is now a plan of assassination, which is very very a new one na binigkas niya na hindi naman yan siya kasali sa articles of impeachment.
Opo, attorney, tingin mo na dulas lang siya si Attorney Matibag nung masabi niya na bago pa siya dumalo, abay nakapag-meeting siya sa PROSEC, House Prosecution. Ano tingin mo doon, sir?
Actually, ang point kasi niya mag-meeting talagang mag-meet naman, no? At magkaroon ng briefing and everything. Pero quick lang siya kasi parang i-coach ba? Kinoach siya. Ayaw niya sabihin. But actually, the truth is that kami pong mga lawyers, when we present our witness, binibrief talaga namin yan. Tinitanong namin yung mga usual na mga katanungan, ano yung mga sagot niya, normal yan sa pag-briefing. Pero siya, naklaro mo na pinagtatakpan kaagad niya yung kanyang pag-meet, no? Kasi there's nothing wrong if you will meet with the prosecution and have a briefing. Akala kasi niya na parang tinitingnan na coach ang kanyang testimony. But clearly po, talagang scripted po talaga ang testimony niya.
Doon po sa unnotarized and unsigned affidavit po ni Las Cañas. At bakit po naabot po tayo doon sa International Criminal Court Standards? Sinabi po ni Senator Escudero kanina, Your Honor, hindi po tayo ICC. Hindi po ICC ang Senate Impeachment Court, sir.
Alam mo, actually, yung nangyari noon is mas lalong nakapagpalubog sa prosecution. Imagine isa sa batayan niya to show the pattern is yung affidavit na hindi naman notaryado. Tapos photocopy pa ni Las Cañas. Wherein that Las Cañas person, hindi man lang niya na-interview. So it weakens, no? Kasi if that is the part, kung para binasihan niya ang isang investigasyon, kung kaya nakapag-conclude siya na meron ng plano and yung pattern, yung behavior na ginagawa is that is improper. Kasi sa investigation side, it only shows how weak and what kind of investigation are NBI doing. hindi pala magaling ang NBI natin kasi imagine, pati ang mga testimony na hearsay na ganyan, unauthorized is gagamitin as an evidence, no, or to arrive in a conclusion that there is already a pattern. You cannot do that, no. You only rely it when the person to whom the person who executed that document is ready and available at napatestify more or na-investigate niya. And then after that, that person also will go to court and testify. Yan sila sa kanya. So, basically, ang nangyari doon sa Las Cañas affidavit, hearsay and character evidence po yun, no? The Las Cañas statement and prior incidents appear primarily intended, no, to show propensity or a pattern of violence, yun ang sabi niya. Pero it creates serious relevance, no? Bakit po? Serious relevance in the sense nga, ICC naman. Hindi naman tayo nandito sa ICC. Impeachment proceeding man yun. Tsaka yung tao, hindi mo man nakausap at na-investigahan. Bakit mo ginamit yun as a pattern? And there's no judgment yet that says that this testimony or evidence of testimony of Las Cuñas or this affidavit was accepted as the genuine truth or a proof of the truth. Hindi pa man, wala mang findings pa ICC, hindi pa siya nakapag-testify. So it is a hearsay evidence. Second, aside from creating a serious relevance issue, yung authentication niya, problema. And because nga, hindi nga siya public document, hindi siya notaryado. Ang public document kasi accepted yan siya. Pero pag hindi po siya notaryado, it's just a private statement. And the only one who could authenticate this is yung tao na gumawa noon, yung author, yung sinasabi ni Binluan na author. Yun ang point yan. Tsaka, klaro po na hearsay ito at tsaka yung meron po siya mga unfair prejudice issue. Kita nyo ha, pinapabasa niya, pinaparipit ni Luistro. Bakit? Ang purpose noon is to present to the public na yun po ang nangyari. Kaya nga sabi nga sa objection ni Atty. Binluan, prejudicial po ito. It prejudices my client, no? The BP Inday Sara, because it somehow creates an impression to the people na posibleng nagawa na yun without the opportunity to cross-examine naman sila sa kanyas kasi hindi ngayon mo magte-testify. So it was uncalled for. Pero for me, by presenting that and by pointing out na ginamit na yun sa isa sa mga pattern of violence or yung propensity na pwede makakreate ng violence si BP Inday Sara, it damages tuloy dahil nga sa nagre-rely lang pala siya ng mga chismis or mga hearsay evidences.
Opo, nabanggit niyo po kanina sa unang bahagi ng ating panayam yung unfair o biased witness. May nabanggit po kanina doon sa hearing yung kanya pong tatlong opinion pieces sa isa pong pahayagan na panay tira po kay VP Sara. That was before his appointment as NBI Director. Ano masasabi mo doon, sir? Maihiwalay ba yung kanyang personalidad before and after appointment?
Meron na talaga siyang possible prejudgment, no? And bias in a sense na meron na talaga siyang tama or galit doon sa BP Inday Sara. Hindi na po siya fair and objective na magpresenta po siya ng facts, no? So, ang prior columns po niya at saka even yung wife's impeachment endorsement, no? And his pre-testimony discussions with prosecutors collectively provide substantial material for impeachment of credibility, although none alone automatically disqualifies him, of course, no? However, but ang issue niyan is yung prejudgment and bias niya. Bakit siya umupo? Considering na wala nga siyang subpoena, nag-appear siya doon at nag-testify siya. Ibig sabihin, interested siya. He is what we call an eager witness, a volunteer witness to prove a fact na gusto niyang magpresenta na siya ang mag-testify on these matters dahil nga meron siyang kinikim-kim na dahilan na prejudge na niya ang kanyang kaso against BP Inday Sara. In fact, tingnan mo he testified and tried to defend the rule on betrayal of public trust by explaining, no, that ito makakreate ng betrayal of public trust kahit na ano pa ang mangyari kasi nagka-commit siya, nag-execute siya daw ng law si BP Inday. But in fact, ang rule niya is to investigate only on the threat, no, at saka yung mga assassin. So by creating that conclusion, he is already testifying for the prosecution for purposes of his opinion on the impeachment. Take note, no, kasi yung kanilang mga statement dapat, kaya nga, pinapoint out ni Binluan kanina, yung threshold na guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Kasi, yung investigation nila, i-file nila sa DOJ prosecutes and the regular courts will decide yung guilt beyond reasonable doubt. But on his point, nasa investigation stage na nagawa na kagad siya ng conclusion of law, which is improper. Dito she's biased, no? Kasi dapat sana, kung talagang pakita niya, well, the betrayal of, we just investigated, Your Honors, and we presented this, and that it would depend upon the determination, yung betrayal of public trust sa inyo po na mga senator judges and even the public, no? But on my part, I will reserve my opinion for myself dahil ang trabaho ko lang naman is investigador. Hindi naman ako prosecution team. Hindi naman ako lead prosecutor or prosecutor dito. Alam mo nangyayari, parang prosecutor na siya kanina eh.
May decision na siya agad eh. Alam mo for
Yes,
me,
yes.
Your Honor, ganito ganyan. Talagang guilty siya sa betrayal of public trust, ganito ganyan. Attorney.
Nakakatuwa. He was no longer acting as a witness. He was acting like a prosecutor sitting on a witness stand, tapos advancing now the interest and theory of the prosecution. Hindi po talaga, super biased talaga siya na witness. And naman ko anong pinaghuhugutan nito ni NBI Matibag. No? Talagang, marinig mo yung mga buntong hininga niya kanina. Malalim niya na hininga, that would only show na talagang gigil siya, either gigil siya, hindi siya nervous eh. He's very overconfident and gigil talaga siya, no? Talaga niyang gusto niyang idiin and to make a point, no? And to say, later on, say to his boss, oh, you see, I did a very wonderful job.
Opo. At may nagsabi po kanina ng House Prosecutor, Congressman po ito, balian na daw po ang ipipresent na ebidensya sa Article 4 doon po sa grave threats. Balian na nga ba talaga, Attorney?
No, it's not. It's full of hearsay, no? Hearsay evidence lahat. And in fact, magtutuloy ang cross-examination tomorrow, magigrill siya lalo. Alam mo, pag mag-present ka ng evidence po, huwag mo po gamitin mo yung marites o yung chismis o yung nakalap mo sa iba't ibang mga tao. Like for example, yung sinasabi niya na diniscuss daw niya doon sa mga foreign counterparts niya at sinasabi, ay, kung sa amin, nakakulong na yan. Eh, bakit hindi nakakulong sa atin? Kasi, the fact is that, yung pong nag-utter doon sa, nag-threat doon sa US, immediately thereafter, hinuli. Kasi yun nga ang point yan eh. If meron pang sufficient time, yung connection from the time it was uttered or made, no? Tapos may several hours na pwede pang hulihin, it may be considered as kung meron talagang crime, no? Pwede pong hulihin without any warrant. Eh sa kanila po, hindi eh. Ang ginawa po dito is that ginamit pa nila yung kay Ronel Mas, no? Na yung teacher. Because several days na hinuli. Dapat yung pag-utter pa lang, pinuntahan na at hinuli, no? So, what I'm trying to say is that it can be done if they found indeed na meron pong krimen na gawa si Baste, meron pong na krimen na gawa si BP Inday Sara, immediately hulihin na kagad. At that very instance, they did not find any crime committed. That's the reason why they did not do that. Kasi kung, parang sinasabi ko ba, kunyari may nakita ka dyan sa labas na may binubugbog, di ba? E di, hulihin mo kaagad. Kung may police ka or citizen arrest, hulihin mo na ka because the crime has just in fact been committed. So, kung meron pang reasonable period of time within which pwede po yun hulihin. So, ibig sabihin po, afterthought na lang talaga itong pagpa-file nila kasi nga, they want to get rid of a political opponent.
Opo, Attorney, kung kayo po ang presiding judge, halimbawa, Article 4, pasok po ba yun, Attorney? Yan po ba impeachable offense? Magigilty ba si VP? Article 4?
Definitely not. Because, anong nangyari, Manggod, ang pagsabi niya kasi noon ng term is, remember inumit talaga ng prosecution yung term na kapag ako ang patayin. Kapag patayin ako at ang pamilya ko, di ba? May kinausap na ako. Yung mahalaga kasi yung term na yun kapag ako ay papatayin, may kinausap na ako. Now, how could you file a case against a person if there is an attempt to kill you kung patay na siya? Ibig sabihin po, in order to take effect, kailangan mamatay muna si BP Inday. And then somebody now tries to assassinate BBM and the family. Diyan pa po papasok yung tinatawag nating execution. No? So how now can you file a case against her? So it is actually more, sa akin MJ, it is more of a warning. If I am the senator judge, I will rule it. It is a warning to them, do not hurt me, do not touch me, do not kill me, do not touch my family. Otherwise, I will act. I will act accordingly. I talk to somebody who will conduct the revenge for me. It is a warning first. Remember that. Hindi ba pwede tayo mag-warn? O sige, suntukin mo ako? Sige, papasuntok rin kita kay Manny Pacquiao. Parang ganun ba ang ibig ko sabihin, no? So it's a warning not to do that to me so that I will not do it to you. So there is no such thing, no? As a grave threat or tawag natin culpable violation of the Constitution. Maybe reckless ang pagkasabi. Maybe meron siyang yung out of galit, frustration, anger, nasabi niya yan. It might be reckless, but it will never hold as a culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayal of public trust.
Opo, dito tayo sa Article 2, Attorney. Culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayal of public trust, graft, bribery, and unexplained wealth. Aba, medyo may mga desisyon dito ang Senate Impeachment Court. Pinayagan po ang pagsampina ng mga financial records ng VP. Anong assessment mo doon, Attorney?
Well, I was hoping na hindi. But I was predicting also that it will happen. Remember, 13 sila. Yan tinatawag is they are the BBM's 13. So therefore, pumasok na po yung political nature ng impeachment proceedings. Sa caucus nila, na pag-usapan nila na i-allow yon. No, in fact, if you'll notice, Pia Cayetano pala suggested even na bakit hindi natin subukan muna ang 2022 up to 2025, yung na time na vice president siya. At pag may makita tayo na pattern, then baka pwede nating buksan yung other because other years no na hindi siya vice president. Kasi ang point kasi ni Pia Cayetano doon, it would be unfair no to open all the records na naglast na about 20 years no. So ang aking point diyan is yung mga pangyayari na yon is that it would explain the transactions or the income that passes through. Now, take note, gusto ko po paintindi po sa lahat po na nakikinig na iba po yung pinahanap nila dahil wala silang ebidensya, but they will get it and try to check it through fishing expedition. Ibig sabihin, pag may makita, okay, gamitin. Pag wala makita, ay sorry, wala man pala, so wala ka nang tinatago. Parang gano'n, no? And there is a good distinction between unexplained wealth at saka ill-gotten wealth, no? If you cannot explain what happens with it, it may become an ill-gotten wealth. For example, if you are a vice president, tapos the prosecution has proven na hindi mo i-declare sa SALN mo, may beach resorts ka, meron ka mamahalin na mga ganitong mga bagay, Richard Mille ka na rin, or mga things like that, no, mamahalin na hindi mo na-declare, and then you reflected in your SALN a different amount of net income or yung earnings mo doon, and then that would be a case of you have to explain that, and then after that it becomes ill-gotten, no? But to just say na open ang bank records, tingnan yung AMLAC records, tingnan yung ALSALN, tapos from there himay-himay nila kung anong makita nila, then they will now say na ito po. Now, where is now due process there? Now, in fact, kasi kung sinabi kasi nila yan dun sa impeachment complaint nila mismo, na ito ang basihan namin kung bakit may unexplained wealth ka which tends amount to ill-gotten wealth at the disparity sa SALN mo, edi, BP Sara could have explained. Oh, yung disparity na yan, i-explain ko. Ito po yung mga ganito nangyari. Diba? Then, after that, it will now be proven na hindi pala ill-gotten, hindi lang na-explain. But that is not a culpable violation of the Constitution. That could not be considered as a source ng kanyang ang wealth niya is through bribery and graft and corruption. Para nga yung explanation ni Senator Lacson wherein nag-jump yung kanyang yung pera niya, tapos di-explain na meron man ako real instruction, meron man ako, but yeah, he has explained because there is a clear allegation kung bakit nangyari. Pero dito kay BP Inday, hindi eh. there must be a specific evidence pointing out a disparity which he did not disclose. Parang tinatago mo dahil ayaw mong malaman na meron kang nakulimbat na pera at it now is considered as unexplained, now later on magiging ill-gotten wealth. So, having said that, when they succeeded in getting that, no, it is tantamount to fishing expedition at saka, alam mo, kung wala sila talagang makukuha doon, ang mangyayari niyan is na-destroy mo yung privacy ng tao. Second, napinturahan mo na siya sa publiko kung ano yung mga ginagawa niya. These are confidentials. Yung ating personal life sa ating buhay and everything is confidential. Hindi pwede sabihin public officer ka is that bulat-latin na lang lahat yan because we also have a life privately. So, ang ibig ko sabihin, sana okay lang sana ako noon kung tiningnan within the period na vice president siya. Hindi po dapat kasali yung period na hindi siya vice president. Kaya nga ako ay opposed to that subpoena. And it was a clear case of grave abuse of discretion on the part of the presiding judge as well as those who voted sa caucus na i-allow po yung subpoena na yon.
Opo, mukhang meron ng similarity, attorney, doon sa Corona impeachment. Dahil sa Corona impeachment, yung kanya pong mga bank account o yung kanyang bank account ay nabulatlat po sa publiko. Though, meron po siyang reasonable explanation, may supportive evidence and documents na yun nga, yung yaman na yun ay sa kanyang mana, inheritance na kanyang wife, while kinukontest po yung estate, attorney. Pero as the Senate Impeachment Court gets to decide on these things, pinush po yung anggulo na yun daw po ang key evidence against the Corona impeachment. Tingin po ninyo, attorney, maulit yung ganong narrative? Kasi meron ng example sa Corona. Later on, Sandigan Bayan, clear po yung kanyang pangalan pero huli na po ang lahat. Ngayon, meron na naman pong parallelism, attorney, na lumilitaw, bank accounts na naman ng bubulat-latin sa taong bayan.
The difference with the Corona impeachment, MJ, is that the Chief Justice was not an elected official.
Mhm.
It was not to remove a political enemy. It was to really see what happened to his account, no? And talagang nakita doon may disparity at hindi niya na-explain. Now, everybody is almost gearing to remove him as Chief Justice, not as a political enemy. Dito ngayon sa case ni BP Inday Sara, she is being tried actually not because of any culpable violation of the Constitution or any impeachable offense, but to remove her because she is a political enemy. Klaro po yan. Alam po ng taong bayan yan, hindi na po bobo ang mga Pilipino. Naiintindihan natin na talaga ang purpose is just to remove a political opponent dahil sa 2028. Number one, takot sila pag upo sa 2028 is that matigil yung negosyo. Second is that ang accountability, including yung pagkidnap kay Tatay Digong, pati yung mga accountability sa flood control. And they are afraid of that. They have to preserve themselves. Self-preservation po yan. So they will do everything by all means in order to remove this opponent. Para pag once ma-remove siya, we could fill in our own person and then tapos na yung bagay sa accountability sa flood control. So this is different, no? So, but the problem is that hindi sang-ayon ang taong bayan. Remember, in Corona case, the people wanted it to proceed as it is. And when the prosecution and when the Senate Impeachment Court decided against him, the public did not actually oppose. Kumbaga, parang, okay, that is your finding. Tinanggap yon ang tingin, no? Although nga, pagdating sa Sandigan Bayan, he was cleared, no? But it's too late, the hero. But you know how the damage it caused him. Number one, he was removed and besmirch po ang reputation niya. Now, ang aking stand always, MJ, is that this case, they really could not prove the impeachable offenses against the Vice President. But, bulat-latin nila yung lahat, ipalabas lahat nila ng paninira, pag-besmirch sa kanyang reputation. Bakit? Kasi pagdating sa 2028, may nagsabi, damaged goods na siya. Meron po nagsabi niyan. So, ang target talaga nila is to damage her by 2028. So that at least, kung yung i-field nila na candidate, magkakaroon ng chance, at least a slim chance man lang, na baka manalo against Inday dahil nasira nila. But that's not happening eh. Napoprostrate sila because the public trust is going up in favor of BP Inday. Hindi bumababa. Di man tumatakbo ng impeachment process, sige, akyat ang kanyang trust rating because the people does not believe na talagang na-commit niya itong mga things na ito. So, having said that, it is a frustration on their part na to how to remove this BP Inday Sara or at least have a chance in 2028 na ma-damage goods daw siya at magkaroon, yung itatambal sa kanya, ikakalaban sa kanya, is magkakaroon ng chance manalo, which will not happen. Kaya, sabi ko, kung tutuusin po, ito po talaga ay pagpapahiya sa kanya. And itong pagpahiya, they are actually winning on that side na sa kanila intention. But on the other hand, they are not winning the opinion of the people. Yung trust ng mga tao, hindi nila nakukuha. So that remains pa rin as a matter that they have to think about kung paano nila babaguhin ang pag-iisip ng tao.
Opo, last na lang po, attorney. Yung bang
It's okay.
ginawa ngayon kay VP Sara, yung pagsampina sa kanyang bank records, pag-iba ng presidente, malamang maaari pa rin yung gawin. Parang, kasi may nabasa akong comment kanina na parang trap daw yon kasi pag halimbawa si VP na ang nakaupo, pwede rin yung gawin ang pattern na nangyari sa kanya when it comes to checking the financial statements or records or mga yaman ng mga personalidad na dapat maimbestigahan po ng gobyerno.
Alam mo, totoo yan eh. Marami kasi repercussions yung ginawa nila. Now, Sandigan Bayan is looking at it now. And the other courts are looking at it. Kung pwede palang gawin bulat-latin yan, bulat-latin na namin even yung mga period na sa simula pa nagtrabaho siya. Sabi nga ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, so ibig sabihin yung naging gwardiya siya. Yan sa Bureau of Customs, nag-start siya guard, naging police, tapos naging examiner, appraiser, tapos naging collector of customs. Ba, dapat pala yung nag-start siya as gwardiya sa customs, ikasalihin mo na para ma-establish, no? Now, ang akin namang tingin dito is that this might be considered as a pattern for further impeachment proceeding but not necessarily in a regular proceedings, no? Kasi sa rules kasi ng regular courts, hindi man talaga yon ang masusunod. Kasi nga, ito impeachment proceedings, very liberal and it is more of a political in nature, no? Kaya lang, meron ako napansin kasi sa ruling ni Chis Escudero, which I do not know if I am right now, but I am still checking kung tama ang analysis ko. Meron siyang mga baselines that you could not do this, do that. No, pwedeng gamitin siya sa pattern to check, but you could not bolster it and parang i-emphasize mo. He allows that the respondents or the counsel for the respondents, yung mga abogado niya, is pwede mag-object doon. Baka kasi, ang pagdating ng pag-objectionan, baka sabihin ni Chis Escudero, no, you are limited to do this only, hanggang dyan lang. But nevertheless, it's still dangerous, no? Because it will create the perception to the public na na-amass niya yung ganyang pera, akala na nila is nagnakaw na. But take note, it's 20 years, no? And take note that yung inflow and cash outflow and inflow ng kanya sa AMLAC records, it means pasok-labas po yun. Kaya umabot ng 6.7 billion. Now, meron pang findings doon ng BPI na sinabing nagkamali sila ng pasok ng 2 billion. Tapos nilabas nila. So, 4 billion na yon. So, we're talking about 2.7 billion na lang na pag-usapan. Hindi dapat din makita along the way kung ano pa yung mga discrepancies doon. So, having said that, would it be damaging to the defense? I think no. Because alam naman nila na wala naman sila kinakatakutan kahit na yung records na yun ilumabas. Except for the fact that ang problema lang nun is makapag-embarrass, makapag-create ng situation that would somehow say na, ito pala ang pumapasok na pera sa kanya. Parang minamanipulate na ngayon yung opinion ng public in their mind to somehow diminish, no, the trust ng mga public sa kanya. And that remains to be seen kung talagang mag-diminish pa rin. Lahat kasi itong ginagawa nila, MJ, is to diminish the reputation of BP Inday Sara. Kasi ang tingin kasi always, ang projection kasi lahat ng tao sa kanya, si Inday is mabait, malinis, hindi siya corrupt, tapos matapang firm, tapos he has this capacity to, capability to govern na correct, na walang corruption. And they want to destroy that in the minds of the public para pagdating sa 2028 nga, damaged goods na siya. So that's how I interpret things, no, in my analysis on why they are doing this to her. But before that, I would like to emphasize that when the abogado ng mga respondents asked, no, for the records of the certified crew copies, it only means that they're going to file a certiorari and prohibition before the Supreme Court, questioning on the relevancy as well as the confidentiality of these records. Kasi it is too much. No? Hindi naman sila nagsabi na ayaw nila, pero it's too much to include those periods wherein she was not still a vice president of the Philippines. So, by asking that, alam na na magpapile po ng certiorari and prohibition. And we do not know if the Supreme Court will issue a TRO just like what happened in the Corona impeachment trial, which it did. No?